streaming, it's going to be absolutely amazing. This is obviously what everyone wants, right? This is perfect idea. Let's just get it going right now. Let's yeah, imagine the support. No, here's the truth, Lord Lunch Meat. All right, because I was talking with various people about stuff this morning. Because now we're gonna get to the subject now. Okay, um, here's the deal with me. Drama doesn't sell. You understand? Like when drama happens regarding me, okay, there's a whole bunch of people who benefit. Okay, here's who benefits with drama. All right, my detractors, who all get to make content, who all get to stream, who all get to make a zillion videos off of everything, hyper focusing on every little piece, and it blows up. You know what I'm saying? So they always make out, right? The React communities, not my detractors, but the actual React communities, they make out because they get to analyze the drama I'm involved in, but then they get to analyze my detractors and how they get involved in it. Like the React communities eat well when I get involved in drama, right? But the one person that doesn't benefit out of any of this is me and my community. It's not really one person. I should say the group of people that don't benefit from it is me and my community because we don't care, right? Like every single day, we come in here into DSP Gaming or onto the Kick channel, right? And we sit down and we relax and we have fun conversations about games, about life, about all kinds of stuff, correct? And we play games together and I give you my reactions to games. You guys, tremendous amount of interaction and help when I play games these days. And I love that. I love that community that we have built around gaming. It's a really nice thing, right? And we just have a great time together with it, right? But then whenever drama tries to rear its ugly head, and whenever drama tries to interject itself, it's like a guy runs in with a crowbar, you should wedge it in there, right? And like, well, it doesn't really fit into the formula. And this is the thing, like, if I 1,000,000% changed who I was on the internet and I said, I'm going to be a drama guy now. All I'm going to do is react and do drama content constantly, right? Like many people do and find tons of success on, then this kind of stuff would benefit me. Because today, I'd be like, that's it. Today, all we're going to do is we're going to talk about last night. And all we're going to do is we're going to spend an entire day milking this and doing content on it and yelling and screaming and hollering and being upset. But I'm too old for that shit. I'm 42 years old. I'm going to be 43 soon, right? I like what I do when I hang out with you guys, okay? And I don't like having constant being at each other's throats and shit. If anything, what has been the most successful content in the last 6 to 8 months that I've made? Think about it. It's been me having positive interactions with guys like Kino Casino, being on their show and having a great talk, a great interview, right? Shooting the shit, talking about other people drama, right? But not me. Us doing the co-op react on Rich. That was great content, right? Or what about the Keemstar interview, where everyone thought it was going to be drama and it ended up being one of the best conversations I've probably ever had on the internet, right? It was actually genuinely a great time. I think that kind of content is where I shine and where I have value, all right? For me and my community, I should say. But the other kind of content is content where other people all benefit, but not me or my community. And the thing is, as much as I want everyone on this planet to have a good life and get by and be happy, it shouldn't be at the expense of others. And that's a real problem here. All right. Because what people keep trying to pull me into in this situation, these situations, I should say, is drama that helps everybody else out. But then I end up being the one that gets stomped on. Right. I'm the one that ends up taking ball. I'm the one who ends up taking the shot. And then it's like, well, here we go back again, right? Why are we going again to through this again? And so last night was absolutely positively not what I expected. All right. And I just want to preface this by saying I apologize to everyone out there. If I had known for a moment that that's what it was going to be, you know that I wouldn't have been there, right? I think everyone knows that after the side scrollers thing 2 years ago, I made it abundantly clear I don't want any of this kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just bored of it and tired of it. I have no interest in it. I'm in no I'm not at a part of my life where I feel like I have to answer to anyone, where I feel like I owe anyone anything, okay? I've done my time on the firing line for over a decade, right? And this is all shit that's been just tread over and over and over and over and over. It's like you got the dead horse, so you beat the dead horse, and the dead horse is even extra dead, but you keep beating the dead horse. So now the horse has become a big gelatinous pile of like gore because you beat it so bad. It's disgusting. But you keep beating the horse. So now the horse is like dust, but you keep beating the horse. It's like, how long can you beat the horse? Right? It would be one thing if there was actually stuff to talk about in these drama communities about me that was like new or pertinent to something going on today. What happened last night was I go on a podcast expecting that it's going to be a certain kind of show. In fact, I read to you just the other day exactly what I was told it was going to be. I guess I should reiterate, right? What I was told it was going to be because I just want to clear the air here that again, this isn't something that I would have partaked in or participated in. Um, let's see. Here you go. Word for word. I'm going to read from the message that I originally received from Steve, the guy who performed the interview last night on the Truth Show. Okay. This is word for word what he said to me. Phil, I promise you a fun and cathartic interview, a journey through your history and highs and yes, lows, but I'm going to be fair and highlight your survivor attitude and continued success despite all of your trolls and detractors. I watch every deep dive history about you. I think most of it is petty, but yes, some of it is funny. It's easy to laugh at someone from the sidelines. Most people have no idea what it took for you to survive the journey. That's the story I hope to tell in the interview. I just read you word for word the pitch, right? Does that sound like what we did last night at all? In any way, shape, or form? I didn't make that up. I didn't write that myself. That doesn't even sound like how I speak, does it? That's word for word what I was told it was going to be, right? And so I go on this show. And by the way, for the record, I was outright told this would be a 90-minute appearance. Okay. Because I explained that, I have a schedule and I have to spend time with my wife. And, sadly, with that side scrollers interview, it was way too long. And, if we keep it concise, it would be better. And I even pitched, I said, hey, listen to this. If I show up on your show and we do this first interview for 90 minutes and it goes well, I would be happy to maybe make some return appearances as well. It doesn't have to be immediate, but, that would be kind of a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was pitched to me, word for word. Okay. So if you saw the show last night, that's absolutely not what happened at all. Okay. Here's what happened. Okay. I showed up and essentially we talked casually for like maybe 15 minutes about my history and my past. And then immediately Steve starts going into the same drama shit that Kiwi Farms and my detractors have focused on, hyper focused on, hint, hint, for the last 5 years. It's the stuff that they never move past. It's the stuff that no one cares about in my community. No one cares about it who watches me and likes me. The only people who care about it are people who want to make drama content and make money on it. That's it. Because it doesn't affect me today. It has nothing to do with me today at all. I've moved past this stuff years ago. Okay. I did a 12-hour react to June the King documentary back in August. I literally addressed all of this drama, all of it. Okay. And it's done. It's in the past. Today, who I am as a person and a creator is not representative, okay, of who I was back then when I was financially distraught, when I was irresponsible, when I was stupid. I look back now at stuff that I said and did on a stream and my behavior with the way that I spent money, and I'm embarrassed because I was a dunce and because I was basically out of control in many different ways. Okay. But now things are different, right? If anything, if you haven't noticed, the last couple of years have been a wake up call. It's been a situation now where I've been able to change for the better. I feel like I'm making better content. I think more people like me now than previously did because I used to actually just be 100% hated. And now, at the very least, I do have people who actually kind of get me now because they gave me a chance, right? It's certainly not the biggest audience, but it's still an audience. Okay. And I'm happy with that and I've accepted that, right? Listen, I'm never going to be able to make up for the things that I did in the past. All I can do is be a better person moving forward in the future, right? You can't change what's happened in the past. All you can say is, hey, sorry, let's move on. Okay. But sadly, these people don't want that. You understand? They don't want to move on. They don't want to move to the future. They don't want to accept change. Instead, they go ahead and they say, let's just keep focusing on the past because that's what is drama and that's what gets us the views and that's what's going to get us attention so we can make bank. Because the truth of the matter is, if these people weren't able to monetize their content, they wouldn't bother with it. I'm going to repeat what I just said. If these people weren't able to monetize their content, they wouldn't bother with it. They would move on to something else because that's all it is. It's grift. It's grand grift. It's a way to make the bag, right? By any means necessary. Doesn't matter who we hurt or who we trample on. And I think what actually has happened is that over the years, okay, really over the years, I've become so resilient. Like my story is a story of resiliency and a story of being a survivor, despite the fact that so many have taken the shot at me, that I'm still here standing and I'm still making content and I'm still successful. That I think people think, you know what? Well, I can take my shot at Phil now. I'll make my bank and Phil still be here tomorrow. So it's all good. But it gets to the point where it feels like it's gone too far. And I think that last night was definitely that. Like seriously. Um, to give some perspective here, all right? There's a difference between I agreed to an interview and I said we could do this and we could talk about this and we can have these topics and we can do this and that, right? There's a difference between that, which is what the side scrollers interview was, and what happened last night. With the side scrollers interview, all right, they tried so hard to get me to fess up to stuff because they wanted to be popular and notable. At that point, they were not. There was nothing about that show that was getting any views. They were desperate. They were actually trying to get guests from all over the internet. They were getting YouTubers and stuff on the show, and no one cared. They weren't getting views. It wasn't working. So for me, they saw me as their big break, and their idea was to try to get me to essentially fess up to things like playing WWE champion. Okay. And if they got that big confession on their podcast, then everyone was going to be talking about them and they were going to use that to propel themselves to popularity and success on the internet. It didn't happen. So what ended up happening was they turned that into a way to milk my detractors for weeks to months on end, right? They had a series of shows all about me or spin-off shows. Like I'm totally sure they would have had an entire show about mobile gaming and addiction if I hadn't been on the show, right? It's obvious that's where all that came from. And so it was pretty bad the way that they went about it. Like I said, initially I had no problem at all with the interview. It was everything that came after that I had problem with. All right. But that's on me. I accepted it, right? That was my fault. In this case, what happened last night was not my fault. You heard, I read word for word what I was told that was going to be. Okay. And that is absolutely positively not what that show was at all. That was about 3 hours of regurgitating crap that was copy pasted off of key, you know? Because here's the thing. Steve, the guy from TruthSeeker show, set it up as, oh, I did all this research and I did all this and here's what I discovered. Steve did not discover anything. literally every single thing that he brought up was actually copy pasted from Kiwi Farms. If anything, if you are someone who's on Kiwi Farms and you were involved with all of that stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be pretty pissed because he took credit for all of your shit. Like he literally line for line. See, I did this, I did this, I did this. No, he didn't. No, you didn't. That's other people's work that you stole and you passed it off as your own. There was no originality there. He didn't do anything original in anything that he said. These are all accusations that have already been talked about. Okay? It's ridiculously stupid. All right? That he would even act like any of that was work. There was no work to be had. It was him reading Kiwi Farms and watching videos and then copy pasting stuff. Okay? And literally absolutely nothing whatsoever was new was presented or discussed. This is all stuff that's been out there for years and years and years. It's like, oh, I got you with this one. I got you with this. It's like, yeah, this has already been out there. I already even talked about this during the June the King documentary. Like, what are you talking about? No, I don't think you've ever talked about. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I mean, the stuff that's on Kiwi Farms, all right, gets put into my chat like hours after. Like, no lies. Like, what about when you got a haircut? Yeah, they were posting that in my chat. They were super chatting it like 5 years ago. So this is all old shit. It's so boring. See, that's ultimately the problem, is that it's just so boring because it's nothing interesting. If it were interesting, then people would care. But my viewers don't care. They don't. No one wants to hear about this dumb shit. People are coming here to hang out and have a good time with games. No one's interested in this, at least in my community again, right? My community doesn't care about this stuff at all. All we want to do is hang out and have a good time playing games and all that stuff that he really was trying to take me to task for. Like, for example, oh, will you beg your viewers for money, right? So literally every content creator who asks for contributions is a beggar. Fine, I guess you could spin it like that if you really want to, all right? But the difference between me today and me 5 years ago is that 5 years ago, I was in a really bad way. I was literally living stream to stream in some cases. That if I didn't have a good stream, I wasn't going to be able to pay bills that week, okay? So I would say that on stream. Now, that's pretty bad. I look back now and I say, yeah, that's embarrassing. That's stupid. But that was the situation I was in, and I needed to do that to get by. Today, can I ask an honest question? All right. Is anyone who's watching me right now at all on my stream, on a restream, anywhere on the internet, watching this on demand, do you think I'm destitute? I'm sitting here in a room surrounded by expensive technology. I have a ridiculously expensive RGB display going off behind me on a wall covered in the most expensive soundproofing foam that you can probably buy because it's over the top Elgato branded. You know what I'm saying? I'm I've got a freaking frame behind me that's playing animations. I've got You know what I'm saying? Does a single one of you think that I'm destitute and that I desperately, desperately need you to contribute to me today or else I can't eat? Like, and that's actually what Steve was saying on the show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This doesn't happen. No, oh, we have evidence. Okay, present your evidence. You don't have any evidence. You have copy paste Kiwi Farm stuff. It's all you had. The same shit everyone already knows and doesn't care about. And whenever he would bring something up, I was like, do you have anything from today? Do you have anything to talk about today? Oh, what about the Arby's? What about it? We were joking that we should do Arby's. I want to do it right away. Let's do it on a day when my wife doesn't have to cook, right? But I'm not going to starve if I don't eat Arby's. Never said I was going to starve if I don't eat Arby's, or if I did, it was a joke. No one's like, what are you talking about? You would actually have to be a moron to think that. So there's two answers in place. Either Steve's agenda was to present things that he stole from another site as his own, to act like he did work, to look like he's some kind of a big-brained guy, okay? So that he could present a case to make me look bad and try to put me into a bad situation so that he knows that he benefits no matter what, okay? Or the other scenario is he's a complete fucking moron. So which is it? Is it that he's a bad guy who tried to fool me into a situation or he's a moron. It's one of the two. You know what I mean? So, it's just so stupid. So let's I guess we should address a few things directly. All right. So, on this show, he's basically just presenting all the stuff about bank leaks and the bank